Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope to have a good show for you tonight. I'm Trident Tail, and the creator of this presentation, and with me is a good friend and also very respected DKR runner, Sweener Dog.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, so what are we watching tonight? This is a 100% segmented run. I've been working on this project for the past 2 months, and basically what I've done is I've grinded every single section of this run, and I've kind of spliced it all together to give you a really good idea of just how far this game can be pushed. There was a task that was released like quite a long time ago now, and the rule set has since changed. And we now use TT, a faster character. The old one was used with Banjo, which is a slower character. And there's been like a bunch of other strats that have been discovered since then. So it's quite outdated. And I really wanted to kind of present a video that was a little bit more updated with recently found strats. So yeah, that's what I hope to present to you tonight. Now, this is not a task, and it's not like a perfect human run. But it's meant to be a really good starting point, and I hope to maybe motivate some other members of the community for us to like all come together and perhaps work on or continue to work on this project in a more collective manner, and continue to push this game even lower, and in the process find potentially some new interesting little tricks that could potentially be used in actual speedruns. So yeah, are you excited, Sweener?
I am extremely excited. I am going to this completely blind, just like the rest of chat. And I think it's really important to note, not only with every game, but especially Diddy Kong Racing, perfect execution is really, really hard. Really almost impossible. So it's really exciting to get to see something as well constructed as this get shown off. Especially since a lot of the swag strats, so to speak, you don't really get to see those too often in real runs because they're so inconsistent or so dangerous. I think what's showing on screen now with our loading screen is part of the trailer that you put out, and it was one of my favorite things to watch because I think it does a really cool job of showing off just some of the really cool stuff that not only this run has to offer with the silver coin challenges and the mini games and boss races, but also with what DKR has to offer. Because I mean, none of this gameplay is sped up or anything. You really do get to go that fast. So.
Mm-hmm. And Sweener actually brought up like a kind of a cool point. There's a lot of what we call like swag strats or stuff that like is kind of just too gnarly to go into a run, and we will see some of that stuff in this presentation, but none of this is like, you know, considered like not RTA viable. Like a lot of this stuff can be done in runs. It's just no one has really, you know, put in the time to really nail these tricks down and was comfortable enough to put them in a run. So nothing in this run that I'm about to present is like impossible, but maybe some stuff that is a little unlikely. But yeah, we'll get to that when we see it. Any predictions, Sweener? What would you like to see?
Oh man, there's a lot of things. There's a couple things that I think I might only know about because I think you sent them to me.
This is true. I might have spoiled like
some very small things.
Yeah.
But they're really cool, and I think they're very odd, and they're things that need to be explored further. So we'll get to those when the time comes. But I'm really looking forward to seeing those things because I've never seen anything in DKR like that before. I think mostly just the swag strats. Darkwater Beach is always really fun to watch, and especially in something this well constructed, it's going to be really exciting to see that live.
All right, so we're about to get started. I named the file task because I thought it would make me play like one, but that remains to be seen. Well, I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Okay, so on the left here, we've got standard split timer. We are comparing against the world record time, which is a 1:46:10, and that was done by Obio earlier this year. Also below the timer, I'm gonna have slides that pop up after every race with the time of the race and the and comparing it to the race time that Obio got in his run. So lots of neat information to look at as we get through this run. So the first thing we got to do is the overworld section, and there's 4 balloons in the overworld, and we need to pick them all up. So I did this run totally in order, so this is the first thing I did. And kind of the tricky part of this is maintaining your speed through like really, really sharp turns. And also, actually, like some things that we don't really think about is like loading screen fade outs. Sometimes, like when you go into a loading zone, the game can take a while to like fade out. And the reason why I kept this run, I probably could have done the overworld a little better, but I got a really good fade out. So I decided to keep it. I could not beat it.
I've never considered that.
Yeah, it's actually a really big thing. And after doing that section, I realized like, okay, I need to really try and get the best fade outs possible. So this is the first track, Jungle Falls. One of my favorite tracks to do. And I really wanted... the world record, I think, on this track is like now a 33 by Mrs. Gizamaluke, which is pretty insane. I tried to get a 34, but it's actually quite difficult because I think this is one of the tracks that is actually... it's actually slower on... without music. I'm like really convinced of this. And this is Ancient Lake. Kind of a recurring theme in this run is going to be battling with the CPUs. There's going to be a lot of instances where the CPU can either get in your way, like cut you off. They can steal a balloon, like that right there. It's very common for them to steal that balloon. Or they can just be in the general vicinity, and if you're trying to hit a zipper lagless, it's like almost impossible with a bunch of CPUs around. So that's going to be a common theme throughout this run, and I kind of employed strats to kind of put myself in the best possible situation to avoid a lot of the shenanigans that can pop up surrounding the CPUs.
Are all your cutscene skips first frame?
Of course they are.
You madman.
Of course they are. So it is possible to buffer these cutscene skips. It is a 1-frame trick, but that's slow, man. Buffering all the time? No, you gotta hit it first frame. I have thrown away really, really good runs because I did not get first frame cutscene skip.
Wow. Yeah, that is a grind right there. There's a beautiful canyon miss.
Yeah, opening with a 2040, really good.
This is definitely one of those tracks that really, man, these are great. Yeah, that's beautiful. We do the dyno tracks in the 100% run so many times, so I think it'll be really cool to see how well all of these can come together and how much time can be saved, especially. Oh my lord! Holy cow!
Yeah, 55.62. So the world record on this track is 55. 55? Yeah, I think it's it's 55.51 or 55.55. I don't know, but I got really close. And I got the cutscene skip. So when I got that was like one of the hypest moments.
That is insane! Holy cow! We got our first out of bounds trick on screen.
So you can use a boost to get underneath the lava and then get underneath the wall, and then you can just fly out of bounds. This is a trick that you're gonna see like really often, and typically we go back in bounds to get the cutscene skip here, but I don't know. I thought it was cooler to just close my eyes and press start randomly.
You
And
have got to be kidding me. So these comparisons down in the bottom left, that is really the time you're saving from world record.
That's correct, yeah.
Oh man, this is gonna be crazy.
Now I challenge you to a race.
All right, so here's Tricky, and there was a pretty significant trick found, I believe, in 2017. Was it that long ago? 2017.
That sounds right.
So you can perform a checkpoint manipulation on this track to confuse the game into thinking that you're at a different checkpoint than you actually are. So you can actually like finish this race by only doing like honestly like a fifth of this race. It's pretty crazy.
It's like a tenth. You barely go anywhere.
Now try my new challenge. Collect all of my silver coins from around the Dino domain. You must
I'm
find
really
a
excited to
glitch
see
level
this
and
comparison.
win, and then come back to see me.
All right, so next up we have the first mini game of the run. It's called Fire Mountain, and it's a game where you have to collect 3 eggs and return them to your nest so that they can hatch. But each egg takes about 10 seconds to hatch, and in the meantime, CPUs can like come by and steal them. And I actually have like a new strat. I don't think anybody has done this before. So I'm gonna try and walk you through this. So we start off the same. We're gonna pick up this first egg. I'm gonna grab this and immediately shoot it to Tip Top. Usually we stalk Tip Top and we'll pick up the egg when he drops it on the nest. But by shooting Tip Top, he drops the egg, and then we just immediately go back to the center to pick it up. And I grab another homing rocket just to be safe here, so I can shoot the person who's hovering around my nest. But yeah, I found this about a week ago. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think anybody's done it this way. And
It's genius.
it saves about 1.5 seconds over the best time that I've gotten using the other strat. So something that we'll still maybe have to lab a little bit, but I was pretty excited to kind of think of a new way to do this, and so yeah, that was really cool. It's nice because picking up the egg from Tip Top's nest, like you kind of have to like wait a second before you can pick it up, otherwise you'll just drive right through it. But when the egg respawns in the center, you can be right on the spot when the egg reappears, and you'll automatically pick it up, so you like also save time that way too.
Okay.
So this is Jungle Falls coins. I'm not going to pick up every coin on the first lap because I want to kind of do the same route as I typically would to grab 10 bananas. But the rest of the coins are pretty easy to get, and then just finish this up as per usual.
I just gotta throw this out there. We are already minus 22 seconds off of the world record run. Obayo's run is insane. It is like no one has come even close to playing at that level yet. It's so fast, and we're already minus 22 seconds. So I'm really pumped to see where this goes. This is already just wild.
So there's nothing too special about the coins. Like I said, this is a tough part here, is trying to get a fast enough pace so that you can get that balloon before the other CPUs steal it. It's really tough. But this one finishes out 3583, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's faster than getting the key.
Yeah. And now we're back at Fossil Canyon doing the coins. So this one is actually really like tough to full send in a run because of this coin right here. It's really tough to boost and like land right on that coin, like without slowing down, like intentionally kind of like holding back on your speed. So what I try to do is like it's purely by luck that I just have like the right angle and I'm able to like drop right in front of that coin and get it. That's the only real difficult part of getting a really fast time in Fossil Canyon.
Go for it.
Just snagging that last coin. Oh man. Still the sub
57.99.
58. Nuts.
Yeah.
It's like 6 seconds faster. Oh my lord.
So now for Hot Top Volcano, you want to grab all the coins on the first lap, so that you can go out of bounds on the last lap. But Leffen makes it really tough to get this coin here because he's always going to be in the way of that zipper when you get there if you're on really good pace. So as I said before on the Hot Top Volcano balloon race, typically we go back in bounds to get the cutscene skip. And my original intention was to just finish this track out of bounds as well. But when I missed that coin and I was like still on really good pace, I decided to just go back in and get it and then finish this. Much easier to get the cutscene skip. But yeah, now that I think about it, I'm actually was kind of crazy for thinking that I should do all the coins and then try to attempt to get the cutscene skip out of bounds.
That would be painful.
I don't know what I was thinking. That's kind of dumb.
I'll give you a
Pushing
special
yourself.
prize.
That's what
Yeah.
this is. Man, this is a solo project, and that really blows my mind because the amount of work that this is insane. Tricky 2.
Mm-hmm.
First try?
Of course. Of course. And also really important is restarting the console as soon as you finish the race. I tried to reset literally as soon as I finished the race. The game saves the frame the frame after you finish the race. And you want to slam that reset button right after that. So yeah, a lot of these boss races you're gonna see me resetting the console right after I finish. Alright, so we've got car challenge here. We're basically just gonna drive in a circle.
This is the hardest race.
Yeah. I was actually having a tough time getting a really good time here, but then I noticed that you just drive straight right here. You stop drifting for a split second and you just drive straight there, and then you continue your drift, and then we're gonna end on the mat here.
Oh,
Get a 2908.
oh man.
And the reason why we end on the mat is because we need to change our vehicle to plane to go to the next world, so that's why we ended there.
The triple barrel roll.
Yeah, it might actually be faster to do only 2 barrel rolls, because then if you kind of set yourself up to get a better fade out. So that's something that I kind of learned throughout this process. So when I come back to Snowflake Mountain, you won't see me do the triple barrel roll.
Interesting.
Hmm.
I've never taken the fade out into account. This is something I guess I've dealt with. I think I've kind of felt it in any percent when you go to WizBig 1 right away. That's the only thing I can think of, though. Usually I'm just like, all right, we got through Overworld.
And yes, we have the music on now. I do turn off the music in a couple of sections, some of the longer sections that go without resets. And that's because typically when you have the music off, you can save time just due to lag. And the time it takes to turn off the music in the menu for some of these longer sections is in my opinion, is worth it. So, but these sections are shorter, so I won't turn off the music for these sections.
Yeah, playing this game with music on is like night and day. There is a considerable amount of lag added with the music on, even though it does kill in this game.
So we have to pick up a key here, and I found a strat that I really, really like here. I'm going to hit the wall and intentionally slam against the wall, and what that does is that creates a little bit of space in between me and the wall, so that I can immediately turn around and I basically hit the boost right when I'm like about halfway turned around, and I can just zip right out of there really fast. Before, what I would do is like I would line up straight and hit the back wall, and that makes getting first hitting the key very, very hard, and second of all, it makes turning around really, really hard. So what I did was I decided not to get it straight on. You hit the wall, the opposite wall on the left, and even if you miss the key, when you rebound off the wall, you should be in the key's hitbox to pick it up. So it just makes it easier. So that was the cool strat. I don't think that's particularly new, though. I think I've seen other people do it. I just never clued into it until I started really grinding. Now, as I said, this is not a perfect run, and this might be an instance where this run is particularly not weak, but definitely could be much better.
You could push it a lot farther.
Yeah, I grinded this track a lot, and it was really difficult for me. I tried so many different strats. I tried doing like the triple single balloon coming up here. So I used the double balloon there, but I played around with doing the triple single, and yeah, I've tried so many different strats, but 5802 was about the best I could do. I did have a 5770, but I didn't get the cutscene skip, so not good enough.
Onto Walrus Cove.
But actually, that Everfrost Peak was still like almost 7 seconds ahead of world record, so I think Obio had a little bit of trouble on his Everfrost Peak too.
Wow. Yeah, I just noticed that. I would say Snowflake Mountain is probably the hardest world in 100%.
I would agree wholeheartedly.
It's so hard to be consistent on all these tracks, and you could say the same for Future Funland, but I think the stakes are a little bit different there, just because you can usually cutscene skip to get to the coin race right away, and you get a lot of the stress out of the way in one go, from my point of view, I think. As long as you get the cutscene skips, but here, Here, I don't know. It just feels so different, and the coin races you don't come back to for quite some time, so you kind of have to just be ready to sink back into the right mindset for those coin races.
So we're coming up on the end here. This is going to be a 118-18
Wow.
with music, which is pretty.
Yeah, that's spicy.
Pretty crazy. Yeah. There is a faster strat that I believe you have the world record on Walrus Cove currently, the balloon race, right?
No.
No? You
No,
did,
Nordic,
and you had a
I
really
did.
crazy strat.
Yeah.
I challenge you
was
to
fun.
a race.
I was not comfortable using that strat, so that Walrus Cove is maybe another track that could be improved in future, but still pretty good.
I think this is a really handy exercise for improving a category, because normally when we're doing ILs we have the music turned off. But in this case, we are playing the game under very different circumstances, because these are very different tracks when you have the music on. Oh, here we go.
So there's a little swag strat that we were talking about. I don't want to say you'll never see that in a run, but it might be unlikely that you'll catch someone doing that in a run. If you miss that, and if you don't come out the other side, and you just fall into the void, that's like 30 seconds gone right there. You might as well just hit that reset button and start over, because that is a big time loss.
How much time does it save?
Like half a second to a second, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not as much as you would think, because you fall quite slow. And if you think like if you save that blue balloon to just blast through that straightaway, like it's not much time saved, but it's cool as hell.
Yeah, I think that's more or less the point. It's really cool. I love it. Hover challenge, everyone's favorite.
Everybody's favorite. Yeah, I was literally just gonna say. So, I think this is the first time we're actually. Oh no, we saw hover on the boss race, but yeah. So you're gonna see me kind of turning back and forth, and we call this snaking. And this is one of the techniques that we use to go faster in the hovercraft. And yeah, everybody loves this track because it is just a solid minute and change of just wiggling the joystick back and forth. So I'll let you imagine how good that feels.
It's more painful than it sounds, because once you put a lot of time into hover, the most optimal way to play is by pushing up at all times, because you want to stay grounded as often as possible. So you're not just going left and right, you're pushing into the controller and going left and right, which can get really uncomfortable and really painful the longer you do it for.
What I actually thought about doing was you can change the you can change, I don't know what you call it, but you can make the controller think that you're holding up all the time by like recalibrating the stick. So what I thought about doing was trying to recalibrate it so the stick thinks that it's like going up all the time, so that way you don't have to hold up. But that didn't prove to be very useful, especially when you ran into like menus and stuff. So that was something that I dropped real quick.
That's hard to. Me personally, I when I'm making really sharp turns, I'll hold down, or like down left on the stick to make
that's
really
another
sharp
thing, too.
turns. So I think that might mess with that a little bit, but it's an interesting idea actually. I never thought of that.
So this is Treasure Caves, and this strategy right here to connect these boosts is insanely hard.
And it doesn't look that hard, but it's
doesn't.
very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Pirate Lagoon, this is one of my favorite tracks in the game.
This is another track that I had a little bit of difficulty on. It's so difficult to get really, really clean zippers. Like, if you're not hitting these zippers perfectly, like, you get stuck.
Yeah, it completely stops all your forward motion and tries to redirect you in the right direction, which honestly is so annoying because the car zippers don't do that, but plane and hover do. It adds some more complexity, but it can get so frustrating when, you know, the game is just, you know, it's old. So it's really hard to get like the depth perception right and make sure you're facing the right direction when you go over it.
All right, so this is Crescent Islands. I was actually really pleased with the times I got here for the most part. This was one of those tracks that I felt I was going to be... I was not going to quite reach the high level of gameplay that I really, really set out to accomplish. But I was actually able to pick up some strategies that helped me kind of get closer to that goal. So pretty pleased with my progress on this track. And we actually have to pick up a key here. Now, the important thing here is that you don't want to go into the water too soon, otherwise you're just swimming for a really long time. But you also don't want to go in too late, otherwise it makes the angle of getting this key really, really tough. And there's also a bit of luck as well with the tide. So I got really lucky that by the time I reached the key, the tide was up and I was just able to grab it really quick and immediately start backing up. In runs, it's sometimes not that simple. You kind of have to like wait there for a split second to wait for that tide.
That's one of the things that I kind of bothers me about Hundo sometimes, is that you don't get to see the original balloon race. It's always either you have to get the key, and that uses up a lot of time, or you're doing coin races. And both are fine, obviously, but some of those balloon races I really enjoy. I love Crescent Island balloon race.
Yeah, Crescent Island's a lot of fun. Okay, so here, not a new strat, but a strat that you might not see runners do in runs. After we hit this zipper, instead of going deep and getting that blue balloon, I'm just going to cut this corner as sharp as possible. And basically what you have to do here is you have to make that sharp turn and grab that blue balloon, otherwise that straightaway can be really, really slow. So that's why we typically pick up that blue balloon. You can also use the blue balloon to like chain it into that other boost. But yeah, and also that cutscene skip is really, really hard to get on that track.
And sadly, our tropical vacation is almost at an end.
We'll be back though.
We will.
Alright, this is Bubbler. This track I remember, like, in some of my more casual playthroughs of this, like, being really, really difficult.
It is really hard. If you're not playing as TT, this is actually really tough. I think it's a lot of it is mostly because newer players don't have the slightest inkling of a grasp on how hovercraft works, and I don't think any of us blame them. So it's naturally the hardest.
So with these triple boosts, I'm gonna pop them as early as I can, which can be kind of risky because there's gonna be a mine behind that corner, and if you come zipping around that corner, you might not realize that you're right in the path of that mine. But yeah, you want to try and pop those like as soon as possible. I find that generally leads to faster times. Nice 55 there.
Is world record a 54?
I think so.
Bubbler's a good track.
That's also with the music though. I'm not sure if the world record has music though, now that I'm thinking about it.
Hopefully not. Otherwise, we got some optimizations to make. Almost -2, and we're not even out of the first portion of the run. Actually, we are. Never mind. Oh, we're in plane challenge now. This is gonna be crazy.
So plane challenge is actually like not too difficult. It's got one difficult part, which is right here. Barrel rolling in between the wall and the tree. And that one actually wasn't that great. I kind of went a little wide. Yeah, here I didn't get a good angle, so I actually went on the outside of the tree. So could be a little faster, but this was still PB for me.
It's very worth noting, if you check out his pedometer, how every time he barrel rolls, it just kind of creeps up a little bit. That's why he's barrel rolling in the plane, pretty much anytime he's in the plane. It boosts your speed by so much, so he's trying to link as many of those together as he can.
Alright, so now we're going to start doing our trophies. We start with Ancient Lake. Nothing too crazy here, I don't think.
We get to do trophy races now, which are a little bit nicer than regular balloon races. The AI is set at a harder difficulty, so they are just as dumb, but they're a little bit faster. So in that case, we saw on the second lap, Trident was able to grab that blue balloon with no problem because they're farther ahead by that point. And there's a couple other tracks here where they'll be a little bit nicer. Nice 34.
I would have liked a little faster, but getting 34s with music on is pretty difficult.
It is.
And another track that's difficult to get a top time in with the music on is this track here. The real secret to this track is getting the legless zipper in the tunnel, for which you can you can do a boost chain and just totally fly through the canyon section. But it's impossible. I don't even think you can get it. Oh, nice little jump there.
That is one of my favorite things about this this track. Canyonless is so fun because of that.
Typically, I would restart if I didn't get the blue balloon there, but the jump was so nice, and the lap was 18:10. And I was like, we take
oh yeah,
it. So
definitely. Oh yeah. Yeah, 58 with music. You can't be mad about that. That's good.
All right. This is Jungle Falls. Like I said, I'm really convinced that this track is faster with the music on. It's one of those odd cases.
And this is a really interesting game in that way. It's so based on feeling. There's a lot of examples where whether or not something is faster is really hard to measure. Sometimes it just feels faster. The current world record for Jungle Falls is, I think it's music off. But that's Giz, so I think it might be.
I'm pretty sure he did it with music.
You can tell us in the chat.
Okay, so a bit of a new strat here.
Woo! Woo!
That's a 926 fade out.
Wow.
Which is really good. So typically we wait a little bit longer to go out of bounds there, but as soon as I get that second blue balloon, I immediately turn the corner and boost straight down to get underneath, and then it's 3 barrel rolls to the loading zone. I was pretty happy finding that. That is something that I could maybe start doing in runs. It would take a little bit of practice.
It looks really tight, but yeah.
It's pretty tight.
I think my only concern would be your inputs have to be pretty perfect. If you miss one, like especially the double tapping R can be kind of sensitive sometimes. This is one of the sickest strats in Diddy Kong Racing. Again, Mrs. Gazamaluk came up with that one. Super fast way to take out everybody versus having to drive all over the place and hunt them down and shoot them or hit them with mines.
And that's actually like super consistent. You might think I got lucky. Oh, also that turnaround is really, really, really hard. If you get locked up in the wall or the door or anything like that, like you can like clip into the ground or like it's dumb, that area. So you like can't touch anything when you're turning around there.
And what he just did there to get 4th place, that's actually way harder than it looks. Backing up in this game and then going forward, it has like a special timing to it. So trying to do that and time it perfectly is really rough. Now, what the heck just happened here, Trident? Why did you get the trophy?
So when I took the loading zone in Hot Tub Volcano, I basically suspended the like trophy state. So by winning the mini game, I got the TT amulet piece, and I got that because that takes precedent over the trophy. But when I lost, it thought that that was the 4th race in the trophy, and I got 3 first places and a 4th place, and that translates to a gold trophy. So it gives me the gold trophy, and actually the trophy is for Snowflake Mountain, not Dino Domain. So yeah, and we'll be doing that trick quite a bit. Also, Frosty Village coins is like insanely hard.
It is. It has some really cool jumps and stuff in it, but it's mostly just that the coins are in really inconvenient places. Like I really hate the one. I don't know how you grabbed it on the left side there, right before the finish line. That is like the worst coin to get. It has the weirdest hitbox, and if you grab it the right way, sometimes you don't have to go into the water. But that's almost never the case.
That was the one that I reset the most on, that coin. But the hitbox is like actually pretty generous. So the trick is to like drift into it, but not touch the water. And you can just barely grab the coin without touching the water, and keeping all your speed. And that was a 1:11.70, which is
that is hot.
Yeah, I was super happy when I got that. Now I do kind of do a weird strat here. I take this zipper, but I intentionally cut off the boost to grab those 2 bananas, the balloon, and the coin. And then to get a more favorable CPU position, I'll just rip through this second lap. So this tunnel's clear. And then what I'll do is I'll use this balloon, go around the zipper and pick up this coin. And that was the strat that I used. 43.84.
That
Not
is
the
very
best.
good for coins, though.
Yeah, I think you've had a faster 43 for coins before.
Yeah, and that we're back. By the way, but we're back in Snowflake Mountain now, and this is what I was talking about earlier. With this can be incredibly unforgiving at times. Not only are the coins in really hard places, but Snowflake Mountain has really frustrating terrain, especially in the car, where a lot of times things don't make sense, and Snowball Valley is really famous for just flinging you in directions that you can't really predict. So doing that quickly is really tough. Part of me was hoping we'd see the swag backflip.
Yeah.
But
It looks really cool, but I don't think it's faster. Do I do triple? I
Oh.
don't do the triple here.
Oh, no. Oh well.
Couldn't remember.
Part of me loves Everfrost Peak because you do get to go really fast. But the other part of me dislikes it. I can't believe you did first try cutscene skips. That is crazy.
Okay, so I kind of have a story for this. So for this, I really wanted to do a really hard strat here. There's a coin right here. That coin right there, just off to the left. It is possible to take that turn really, really tight, and grab that coin without, like intentionally cutting down on your speed. And I started going for that, and I had the run, like such a good run. And the game actually crashed right before like the finish line. Like it crashed right here. And I was sad.
That is really painful.
And yeah, it's so tough to do. And I ended up
25-18. Wow.
yeah, I ended up abandoning it. But yeah, so what you'll see me do is here is I'll hit the zipper, but I'll intentionally cut the boost speed off. And I also saved these coins for the end because this is another track where you want to race the CPUs to a particular spot in the track because they can steal a balloon from you. Also, shout out to the North American version. There might be a few continuity errors, but
Same game,
yeah.
right?
Same game. Still NTSC. I'm not switching to
That's right.
PAL.
Now that would be crazy. Let's switch to PAL for hover tracks.
Alright, so this is Bluey 2. And Bluey 2 is actually... they nerfed this track a lot. There's like... I think they got rid of like 3 blue balloons?
Yeah, it's a lot less fun the
Yeah.
second time around.
So because there's no blue balloon at the start, we can't go for the out of bounds here. Oh, yeah, nerf that one too.
That is super depressing. I was really looking forward to seeing it again, but I forgot. It's not there.
Yeah. Try to get a love tap from the snowball here. The snowball, if you collide with it, it can actually push you forward, but didn't happen. I'll kind of
Wow,
climb the
this-
slope here and boost.
There's only 2 balloons. I don't know why I've never thought about that before. That is so much less fun.
Yeah, they like totally nerfed it.
And they don't nerf Bubbler at all.
Yeah,
Actually,
they
they
do.
take
They
away 1 balloon.
They take away 1 balloon.
Yeah. No fun.
All right. So now we are about to set up the second trophy. And this part was nice to grind because if you've done it once, you can just copy pasta.
That's true.
So that was a bad fade out there.
Wow, yeah, that is a lot slower.
Ancient Lake.
So we've essentially already seen this. But let's see if there's anything else that I can point out that maybe we glossed over the first time.
This is the
Ancient
part where you
Lake.
can see the second balloon grab.
Yeah. So like they're way farther ahead than when compared to the first balloon race and the coin race. So I'm generally not too concerned with them stealing my balloon. If you're on really, really, really good pace, then they could still potentially take the balloon, but my first lap was a little slow, but the last 2 laps were still pretty good enough to get a 34.
So the reason that we are seeing this again is because the Dino Trophy race is a lot faster than going through the Sherbert Island Trophy race or the Dragon Forest Trophy race. Those tracks are longer and it's going to take us more time. So we just do this one again, and we're going to use that wrong warp again at Hot Top Volcano. I'm so glad we get to see that like 4 times. So this time around, when Trident does the wrong warp, it's going to take us to a different location entirely. Man, you're pretty good at getting these 58s.
Not bad, not bad.
What was the worst grind?
The worst grind?
What did you spend the most time on for this run?
Worst grind is probably probably a tie between Space Dust Alley and Everfrost Peak. I have a lot of trouble with the inbounds plane tracks. Although Dark Moon Caverns coins also gave me a lot of trouble too. Yeah, we'll see those towards the end. Alright, so let me see if I can break this down a little bit. So, as soon as I get the second balloon, I turn and go immediately straight down. And then, yeah, I do 2 barrel rolls, and then change my angle a little bit, and then another barrel roll, and then by then, that area of the track should load, and then we're in there.
So we're going to see some more sick minigame strats. I think this one was invented by Tofu.
Yeah, that's right. I think so.
This is one of the coolest ones. Icicle Pyramid is really fast and crazy, but this one actually involves a lot of driving around the map, so it's a little bit different, but it's still total mayhem.
Blind rock shot right there.
Wow. That's awesome.
And this is where my heart stopped. Missed the balloon right there.
Oof. You gotta have the balloon.
Oh! Got him with the straight rocket.
He runs into the mine too. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's like that's a really cool strat. So typically what most runners will do is they'll camp around a single red balloon and then just farm homing rockets and fire them off. A select few do a variation of that strat, but without the blind rocket shot. And then, yeah, the first time I saw the blind rocket shot in Tofu's all minigames run, I thought, wow, that's the most insane thing ever. And when trying to like perform it, it's not consistent like at all. At least not for me. It's literally a shot in the dark. You just fire a rocket and like there's a general area that I know I'm aiming for, but it doesn't happen all the time. I would say maybe it happens like 1 in 10. And then to get everything else like perfect, and then also to hit Diddy as he's dropping the mine at the very end, like it's absolutely insane, all the things that have to come together for that to work. So for this track, what I did was I ignored most of the coins and just went for the boost chain. Here, I'm not going to go for the boost chain. I'm going to grab these coins and grab the one on the left. Now on the third lap, I'm going to go for the boost chain again and then try to get the last coin that was on the right.
Oh man. Wow. That's pretty tight. A little nerve-wracking to do it on the last lap too.
Mm-hmm. Got a 41.27, which is pretty good. You see, compared to Obio, it's like 8-second time save. Like, Treasure Caves in a run is just awful. Absolutely awful.
Yeah, a lot can go wrong there. This is really tricky to optimize. I spent a lot of time on Pirate Lagoon coins, and to get a really satisfying time on it, I feel like is really tough. So I'm interested to see what this looks like.
I grinded this track a lot.
Yeah. The coins really interrupt the flow of the track. I think I used the same strat, or a very similar one. Just get them all in the first lap.
These the CPUs can easily get in the way there. I've had so many good runs die because they either stole the balloon or they just got in my way. Sometimes I would go for the balloon on the right, but that like it's so awkward to get back on track doing that. So we finished with a 55-48. Actually, funny story, I have a 55-25, two of them. But I didn't get the cutscene skip, so that was left on the cutting room floor.
Rest in peace. Giz did ask in chat, did you use the North American version for the overworld warps?
No, because that's what a smart person would do.
Oh, I did miss that coin. That's...
Oh yeah, this one annoys me. Okay. Yeah, so I missed 2 coins there on the first lap, but the pace was still really good, so I stuck with it. Missed that coin again. But I got this coin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And 2140, I've had faster laps, but pace is still good. So I rolled with it. Finally get this coin. And then a little tap from Tip Top, like, ugh, this, I wanted to improve this so bad, but it, like, I've tried so hard and I could not beat this time. 108.79.
Yeah,
Within
still
10 minutes of grinding this, I got a 108.62.
Well, babe.
And I could not match it. Well, obviously the one at 108.62 did not have the cutscene skip, so I had to redo it. But yeah, I must have like grinded it for like 3 hours after that, and I couldn't come close.
Back to hover now. The hover tracks for coins are really not too kind.
No, there's this coin coming up that's a little out of the way, but there's a cool strat to kind of take care of it nicely. Just
Ooh.
land right on it from the
Is
ship.
that easy to pull off, or is that pretty tricky?
No, that's actually pretty easy to pull off. You just kind of like, if you, like, you don't have to leave the ship at a very specific area. Like, you can kind of just like fall off the side, anywhere, you know, kind of close, to where the ship like starts to curve around, and like you should be good. But yeah, that one was particularly nice because I landed like right on top of the coin. You don't want to land too short, because if you land too short, then you actually touch the rock that the coin is like sitting on, and that actually like reduces your speed a lot. But it's pretty generous.
Bubbler 2 is a lot less fun, since he's tossing bubbles all over the track.
Yeah.
I think this is probably one of the only boss races you can realistically lose if things go really wrong.
I mean, if you keep hitting bubbles, yeah. It's like a 5-second time loss. Because you get trapped in the bubble and you just float up for a bit and then fall down and your speed is 0. And you just have to build it up. And building up speed in hovercraft takes a really long time. And unlike the triple balloon, I don't pop the double balloons that early. Part of it is because I don't want to hit the bubble, but also I want to maintain most of my speed for the straightaway. So, yeah, 58.25, which I believe is really good.
So we're what, about halfway through this run, and we're already 3 minutes ahead of world record.
About that, yeah.
Wow.
We get into some good stuff now, though. All right, so I'm gonna take a little bit of time to turn off the music here. This is a really long section, and I wanted to kind of experiment and see if maybe turning off music for this long section would be worth it. We were essentially going to be doing 2 trophies, and then Dragon Forest balloon races and Dragon Forest coins. So it's quite a lot of content to get through, and without any resets. So I figured this would maybe be a good section to turn off the music in. So we got double balloon there. What I was trying to do is you can actually get like a double single there, but I believe it's a frame perfect trick, and I haven't been able to get a good time with it, unfortunately. It's really tough.
So is this segment, is this the full trophy, or is this race by race like the other ones?
Oh god, no, it's race by race. Actually, I'm not gonna preface this. Let's just watch this.
Ooh. It's exciting. Wow. Those big jumps are so fun to watch. Really good boost. You gotta be kidding me. No way. Oh my lord.
So that is a unofficial world record.
What's unofficial about it? It's music off. I guess it's in trophy race, but that still counts, right?
Actually, it's really difficult to grind trophy race tracks because the AI, like you want to try and emulate the AI in the trophy races, but if I were to grind that in the trophy race setting, I would have to like keep doing Ancient Lake over and over again to get to Fossil Canyon. So I kind of did cheat a little bit. I used a cheat called Time to Lose, which more closely emulates the AI of a trophy race, but it's still not exact. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I used the cheat, but unfortunately it makes the run invalid for leaderboard.
Wow. Still, that is an unbelievable time. Yeah, Time to Lose is almost definitely a must.
So because we actually want to actually get the Dino Trophy this time, we're gonna finish this one out.
Wow.
42.97. All right, so we're gonna go through this trophy again, essentially, and maybe this time I'll break down the Fossil Canyon a little bit more. But we still have to watch the Ancient Lake first.
Ancient Lake.
1740 lap. I've never seen anything like that. I've had a 17 lap before, but not that low. That is just insane.
Lap 2.
Time to lose might have an effect on the second lap. But a qualifier to that is the first lap was a 20:35. I've definitely gotten 19:40 laps, first laps. So
Canyon.
And you grab the bananas on the outside, right?
yes, yeah.
Because I think the fastest first lap I've had is like an 1860 or something without grabbing those. So it can be pushed farther, but it's interesting to think about. Man, the canyon, this is awesome.
Lap 2.
If 8 bananas is faster, or if 10 is faster.
So what I think time to lose might have an effect here is I might have gotten lagless here. Does that look lagless?
That's lagless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does not happen in balloon race. That is always a laggy zipper. You can get good laps on the second lap, but nothing like that. That is
Yeah.
nuts.
I've gotten high 17s without lagless and like without time to lose. So I do think a time like this is definitely possible without it, but
Much harder.
Jungle Falls.
maybe a tad harder. Yeah, this is actually something that I would like to grind now that this whole project is over. That's a time I would definitely like to get. Maybe even a 54. We'll see how far we can push it.
Power up. Lap 2. Final lap.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that was sly.
hmm Very, very tight going in between Conquer and the bone there. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Hot Top Volcano.
All right, so we're gonna do this again. We're gonna get a little bit more help without the lag here. This is
I've
sub
done
9.
that. Oh my god, Dragon Plane.
Oh my god, we got Dragon Flame.
I've done that grind before, just going for the wrong warp over and over again. And it's really hard to get the barrel roll to
Excellent.
line up.
Now I
Like,
challenge
perfectly.
you to a race.
All right, so there's an out of bounds on this track, and Sweener, you were actually the one to find this back in April.
It was, and it's a tricky out of bounds, and it has. This is actually what I was referring to earlier in the run. There's a very interesting property in plane here that I've never seen before. That Trident will show off right now.
So when I get out of bounds here, I'm not going to drop in altitude at all. I'm just going to immediately turn left, and I'm going to drive through the green texture there. And there's like a ceiling
Lap 2.
there that basically forces you down. And when I first saw that, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I started driving through there a lot, and if I was able to catch a lot of speed out of the clip and continue the barrel rolls into that texture, I would just get slingshotted down, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
That's a
Really,
50-51,
really interesting.
And that is unofficial world record.
Man,
Excellent. Now try my new challenge. Collect all the silver coins.
it's
from
definitely
my
worth pushing some of
world.
these times down,
Find
because the
8
fact that
from
you're just
each
getting world
level
records
and win.
just by practicing
Then
them,
come back
I mean,
and
it just
see
shows how much
me.
farther you can go.
Okay, so now we're gonna have a bit of story time. So in Obayo's world record, when he went to go do the when he went to go to Smokey, he got too close to the door and he had a text box pop up on screen, and he actually had to do Smokey and this track with a text box on, like covering like 90% of the screen.
Lap 2.
Yeah, which is insane. He did the out of bounds on Smokey, completed that, and then he did this with the text box on before he talked to TT and removed the text box. Now me, this is one of my weaker tracks. I'm like not the greatest at Haunted Woods. I've tried really hard. I cannot get like much faster than this. So this is actually slower than Obayo's time in his world record, and he had a text box covering 90% of the screen. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to take your shame emote of choice, and I want you to spam it in chat and just shame the living hell out of me because I can't beat him. I can't beat him. I've tried so hard. 44.63 is not a bad time, but I couldn't do better.
And that text box is really big. It's really hard to see what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not joking. It obscures like 90% of the screen. So yeah, kind of ashamed.
Lap 2.
Just
All right.
supposed to show how good Obayo is.
So on Boulder Canyon, I typically went for the key on lap 2, but what I actually decided to do was to speed through these first 2 laps. And what that would do is that would give me a better CPU position. Because there's a really important zipper that you want to try and get lagless here. But with a bunch of CPUs around, it's like really hard to get lagless. So I've passed all the CPUs now. I'm gonna get this key. I lift up the drawbridge, so they actually have to go around. And now I get a much better boost
Wow.
off there. So I think from now on, I'm going to start getting the key on the 3rd lap instead of the 2nd lap, because that has worked much better for me. Get a 119.63.
Now, you just restarted there. What's that about?
So the benefit of Dragon Plane is that the game thinks that, well, first, Dragon Plane allowed us to access Smokey, the boss race, before we even got 4 balloons in Dragon Forest. So the game thinks that we have already completed the first boss. So once we complete the balloon race, the coin race immediately unlocks. And so by doing the cutscene skip, instead of returning to the lobby, we can just restart the race. The game already saves, it knows we've completed the balloon race, so it just spits us back into the coin race. And this cuts down on overworld movement. So it's one of the benefits of getting Dragon Plane. So again, I saved these 2 coins for last because I wanted to speed through the 2nd lap. To get a little bit better of a boost here. I went a little wide there. That probably could have... That was good speed, but I went a little wide. It probably could have been a little tighter. But still, this is still pretty good. 1:16.26. Oh yeah, 10 seconds ahead of Obayo. But yes.
Wow.
As Giz pointed out in chat, Obayo did play with music in this section, so I do get a little bit of a advantage there.
So I think one thing that's really important to explain too is when we do the wrong work in Hot Top Volcano and we go out of bounds, one of the finish line that we did, and it brings us somewhere in the game. That's actually totally random. There's 3 locations that it can bring you to, and one of them just happens to be Dragon Forest, where he is racing in currently. So based on which wrong warps you get, it actually changes the route that you need to take to do it the fastest, which I think is a really unique and interesting thing about DKR 100%.
Yeah, for sure. And luckily for, the purpose of this demonstration, Obayo actually got pretty good RNG and was able to do the same route that we're doing. So the comparisons all sync up, which is really nice. So here I'm getting most of the coins here. There's 2 coins on the right side of this fountain here that I'm gonna grab. And then there's 2 coins here, but I'm actually gonna save those for the last lap. Because I can just use the boosts to just fly through this section. Whereas this time when I go through it, there's gonna be lots of traffic in the way. So I feel like it's better to just go and grab these coins here while there's a bunch of people in your way and it's maybe a little bit more difficult to just fly through it with the boost.
Awesome time.
4703. Not too
Wow.
bad. So now it's playing the cutscene skip to go do the boss because we've gotten 4 balloons in Dragon Forest here. But if we were to go do it, it would actually be the first version of Smoky. So we definitely don't want to do that again. We've already done it.
Smoky Castle.
So we're going to turn around and go to Smoky Castle here.
So this, even this minigame has some swag strats on it. We're not going to see them this time because they are a little bit ridiculous to pull off, the duplication glitch. But in Smoky Castle, the goal of the game is to deliver, is it 10 bananas?
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's 10. 10 bananas to your treasure chest up at the top of the castle.
Power up.
And you can only hold 2 maximum at a time. So you have to grab 2, bring them back up here, blah, blah, blah. But I don't actually know who figured it out, but you can duplicate bananas that you're holding and deliver all of them up there in a much quicker fashion.
Power up.
Obio was actually chirping me a little bit on Twitter because he noticed in the last clip that I posted that I wasn't doing the dupe strat. But if you noticed, I was picking up the bananas like almost right when they respawned. So that kind of gives you an indication of how optimal you're performing that strategy. There was actually one banana in particular that I actually had to slow down intentionally for because I was passing it too soon. And so it appeared, but I couldn't pick it up. So I actually had to slow down like a little bit. All right, so here's a strat. I don't think anybody's ever going to do this in a run, intentionally anyway.
Oh no.
So I'm going to ditch the balloon. I'm going to use it there. And I'm going to use the time trial strat
Ooh.
to get out of bounds here.
Which, you're pretty good at this one.
I'm terrible, actually. You have no idea how much I have to grind this track. Okay, actually, I said, what did I say? Everfrost Peak and Spaceless Alley were the toughest grinds. I didn't grind this as much, but this was like a soul-rotting grind. Because so few of my attempts actually like made it out of bounds. Yeah.
But you got through it, and now we have this amazing run to watch. Oh, come on.
5770.
Really cutscene skip from out of bounds.
Alright, so I'm gonna pick up this coin, and I'm gonna turn sharp to get those 2 bananas there. I'm gonna skip that balloon. I'm just gonna grab the coin, and I think you guys kind of see where we're going next.
Oh man. The thought of actually doing this in a run is already making me sweat.
So Honey Badger asked if these are all RTA viable strats, and like I said in the intro, these are all RTA viable strats. It's just some of them might be incredibly unlikely to be used in a
Successful.
run. Yeah.
Final lap.
I mean, Nordic Boa did do this strat in a race. So it's not like someone hasn't done it in a run before, but it's just like very unlikely that someone would like intentionally go for this every time. Like Nordic did it as a backup.
It is really, really tight. Normally you would keep the blue balloon and use it to help you get out of bounds because you need a lot of speed to do it.
So we get a 113.89. The surprising thing is that this is only 4.5 seconds faster than Obio's, and Obio actually missed the... I think he missed the out of bounds. or he got and he got all the coins on the first lap.
What?
Yeah, so he had like an insanely good windmill planes despite that mistake.
That's insane.
Lap 2.
This is Greenwood Village. This is one of your favorite tracks, right?
It is. I used to hate it, but it's one of my favorites now. I think it's like probably top 5 for me. It is, again, it's really, really tight, and I think it shows some of the really fun stuff in car off a lot. There's so many sharp turns you have to make, and really crazy boosts. So yeah, I really love this track.
I love this track too, although it's not particularly one of my stronger ones. Got a 106 though.
That's great. Yeah, that's really good.
Now for this track for the coins, I bounced back and forth between some different strats that I was doing, and this is kind of what I settled on. So there's a coin in the back there, but I avoid that for grabbing those balloons, or the bananas rather. That coin in the tunnel, I used to get on the 3rd lap because I figured that by the time you get to that area on the 3rd lap, all the CPUs are there, and so it would just create lag on the zipper. So I figured that was a really, really good time to get that coin there. But that coin is actually really, really difficult. There's a bump like right before that tunnel, and you can just like, if you hit the bump wrong, you can just fly into the side of the wall, and then your attempt is basically over. So yeah, I did that quite a bit, but ultimately decided to just go for it on the first lap. And then I decided to get that coin on the last lap because you generally slow down like a little bit to grab that. So yeah, 112.11.
Very, very nice. Now we could see this really, really cool out of bounds strat again.
If you can beat me again,
I think it is. It's got to be something with the ceiling. Like you're clipping inside the ceiling for a second, and then it's shooting you back out at high speed. Because I don't know what else this would be.
Yeah.
But I've never seen anything else in the game behave like that.
Yeah, it was a really neat find. I was pretty excited when I stumbled upon that.
I think it's definitely one of those things. I think there's a lot of properties that we don't entirely understand yet, especially when it comes to out of bounds stuff. It's so cool. Very cool.
Is this real? Like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, it's totally replicable. Like, it's the easiest thing ever. I mean, it really, really helps maintaining a lot of speed coming out of the clip. And you want to get, like 2 barrel rolls as you like fly through that green texture. But like, yeah, if you've got a lot of speed going into it, you just get absolutely rocketed in that direction. So another 50. The world record for this was by Obio previously, and I think it was like a 51:37 or something like that. Yeah. It's a quote. Okay.
So we have completely finished the mid game now, which is all the trophies and stuff. I'm really excited to see this Wizpig because Wizpig 1 is notoriously the laggiest thing in the game. And getting a really fast time here is really tough. So how much time did you spend getting this one down?
On this track, I probably spent the least amount of time.
Really? Okay.
And this is always a nerve-wracking part of the run. I was actually really dreading this, but it actually turned out to be one of the nicest grinds. I grinded this for 30 minutes. and I was really happy with what happened. For reference, the fastest time I ever got in Bisping 1 before this was a 111.
Oh boy. Excited to see what this is gonna look like. This is definitely one of those ones where if you can get a couple of good zippers, like there's something about the terrain that just behaves like that right there. It just behaves so differently because you have so much speed going into it. That's a great first lap. Wow. Like 107? Mid 108, that's an awesome time.
Yeah, I was super happy with that. And now I kind of love this track. I kind of like it a lot.
It is really fun. The terrain here is it's not horrible. It's pretty forgiving. We get another reset. And we're 5 minutes ahead?
Yeah.
Hello, selection. Abracadabra. Kaibigan ko now.
Honk honk.
Okay, it's control.
So I think Future Funland is one of the most notoriously nerve-wracking segments of the run, because this operates the same way that Dragon Forest does, if you can get there with Dragon Plane, where if you can get the cutscene skip, you can restart the race, and it'll just put you right into the coin race. Naturally, in this scenario, it's a little less stressful. But I think it's one of my favorite parts of the run to watch, because it is really, really exciting. It's super tense.
Alright, so this is Space Dust Alley. Like I said, this is one of the rougher grinds for this project. Admittedly, I'm not really close to the top times here. I've tried really hard. This will look really clean to you, but people can actually get like 4 or 5 seconds faster. And I just don't understand. So this is definitely an area where the run can be improved. But I'm one man. I can't do it all. I definitely learned some things though about this track while I was grinding. That is so hard. That barrel roll into that balloon is like,
yeah,
that's where I lose most of my time right there, is I got stuck on the zipper a little bit, but it's to get every single barrel roll, to get every single zipper, to get every single balloon, like, it's impossible.
It is.
It's absolutely impossible.
Really tough. All right, that's a good time regardless. That's very good. 113. Yeah, I would be happy with that. I think the world record is it's 109 or 108 or something.
It's a really high 108, I think.
It's just insane.
I had a little bit better of a time with Space Dust Alley Coins though, because I think it's a track that's hasn't really been explored a lot. So
That's true.
Two.
I did feel a little bit better with my time here, but yeah. Typically, I would save this coin for the last lap, but because I missed one of the blue balloons there, I figured that that was a good time to go get that. If I got the double balloon, I would just speed right through there. And yeah, save this coin for the last lap because I can just speed right through here, so might as well get that one last because that's when we have to get the cutscene skip. So it's better to go through there a little bit more controlled, and you have to pick up the coin anyway. So
It's one of the coolest things about Diddy Kong Racing is the 3-vehicle system.
Go for it.
I think it makes for some really interesting competition. It creates little subsets in the community of vehicle preferences and stuff. My favorite is hover, but I have to admit, plane is really the craziest in the game. It is so much fun to watch, and it is has a lot more YOLO strats by comparison to car or hovercraft.
So this is Darkmoon Caverns. I like this track a lot, but this track can be pretty technical. This is another track that I don't have I haven't fully comprehended yet. But gosh, this one's fun. I like it.
This one is not my favorite. It's definitely one of the laggier bunch, which I think makes it controversial, just because it's very unforgiving in that aspect.
Final lap.
3026 is like a little slower than what I would have liked. I have gotten sub 30 laps here, but
I don't think I've even come close to that time. Yeah, 121 on the last loop. That's ridiculous. Wow,
low 132.
that is very, very good.
It's a PB for me anyway, so it's good. Okay, this was another track that I think I struggled with, you know, like bouncing around strats on like when to pick up what. But I think what I ultimately settled with is, for the most part, just full send until the last lap. The really important bit is that really sharp loop that you do, and on the third lap, of course, is when you meet up with the CPUs. So that's a good time to get those coins. Although depending on, did I get the coin here? No, I didn't get the coin here. Yeah, okay, so I would just do that. Sometimes I would get really lucky and I would full send the boost, but I would still end up like in the middle of the lane and like grab that coin. Which was it happened like maybe 2 or 3 times out of like a total of 6 hours. I don't know how long I grinded this. It was a long freaking time though.
It's good practice.
But yeah, so I'll intentionally slow down here, and I lose my blue balloon. That's totally fine because I have to pick up this coin. If you do not pick up these 2 coins before the loops and you go through the loops all 3 laps, like you're done. You have to restart the race because you can't go backwards through the loops. So, yeah. 134.93, not the best. I might have settled a little bit on that, but man, it's so hard. It's really hard.
Final domain.
Still gained 2 seconds on a bio though.
Trophy race.
Yeah, can't be too mad about that one.
Alright, so now we're setting up the final trophy again, and so yeah, you're gonna get to see
Power up.
these races again.
Everybody's favorite.
Lap 2.
mid 34.
Fossil Canyon.
All right, this is the last time we get to see this this Fossil Canyon.
So, approximately how much gameplay was there with the music off versus on?
So the music was on
Lap 2.
for Sherbet, Balloon and Coins, and for Snowflake, Balloon and Coins, and that was pretty much it. So, and the trophies, which is about 2/5 of the game, if you break it down by world. Right? That makes sense, right?
Yeah, I think that works. It's interesting to see it in this context because if you're doing a RTA, it will never be consistent enough. I don't think, because obviously you can't perform at this level consistently.
Right. So it kind of begs the question, like, is this really worth it in the end?
It's a gamble for sure. You're really betting that everything's going to go pretty well, so you got to be able to take advantage of the music being off.
Lap 2.
I mean, who knows? If, for the sake of this demonstration, you know, if I turned off the music on those shorter sections, would I save enough time to offset that? Like, maybe, maybe not. But I feel like it's kind of a safe bet in actual runs to turn off music in these sections because they're just so long.
Hot Top Volcano.
All right, so we're gonna see this wrong warp here again.
That was even faster. Sub 9.
All right, so now we are going to Spaceport Alpha. It's the fastest track
Future Funland.
in Future Funland, and this is the track that we're going to get our trophy with.
Spaceport Alpha.
And yeah, we might see some cool new things here.
I love that barrel roll into that zipper.
Mm-hmm.
It always looks so cool.
So in runs, we would definitely go for the shields, but I go for the bananas instead.
Oh, that was
Use
smooth.
the time trial strat to get out of bounds. I'm going to hold on to this balloon.
Lap 2.
Sometimes you get a little bit of lag here because this is the area where you meet up with the CPUs. So I use the balloon there to kind of counteract that lag.
Can't believe how tight you're taking that point down there. I've never seen that
That's a
before.
49.81, which I believe is a unofficial world record.
Oh my lord. Does it make like 4 now?
3, I think.
That's a really cool use of the blue balloon. I think most of the time when we do that, which is pretty rare, it's used to get your speed up as soon as you get out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
But to avoid
Yeah.
the lag instead, I've never thought of that before. It's really smart.
Yeah. I knew that I wanted to save the balloon and try and find the best place to use it. And I didn't think this was the best place to use it right when you got out of bounds because it's literally just a straightaway and you can just barrel roll and you're already keeping a lot of speed from the clip. So I figured that was maybe not the best here. I did an extra barrel roll there, so that's a little bit slower. But I found that strat worked the best.
Did you use time to lose there?
I don't remember, to be honest. I might not have because I figured it might not have made a difference because most of the track is out of bounds. But, I mean, I can do it again. And, yeah, of course we do get the cutscene skip out of bounds because it looks cool.
That was clean. Wow.
So you're gonna see the strat we usually take here is we use the blue balloon to get out of bounds there.
Yeah, you kind of have to do that.
Because you have to pick up that coin, and if you were gonna do the other strat, it would make for a very, very awkward angle because you'd have to rapidly rise and then like come straight down into the hole in the track. Now here, I see that pillar like on the right of the screen. I'm barrel rolling to the left. As soon as I get past it, I change my angle and I barrel roll again.
Wow.
So I pick up that balloon and the coin,
Go for it.
and yeah, finish with a 103.85.
That's a great time.
Mm-hmm.
The final track.
Yep, this is the last track before the boss, Star City. Oh
This one's always
boy, this
really
one was
tense.
annoying to grind sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, I had a lot of issues with CPU and lag.
Lap 2.
Great first lap. Those boosts off the top there look really fast.
So the trick for this city section is like with the zippers, you want to try to not touch the
Wow.
sides at all, because it might look like it's not losing a lot of speed, but you are actually losing, you know, quite a bit of speed, and like that could be the difference of, you know, 0.2, 0.3 here, there, like.
You can see where the AI really got in the way.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been really annoying. Oh, wow.
109.99. That is a PB. pretty happy with that.
That's a great PB. Holy cat.
Okay, so a little bit of strategy here. Obviously, don't go for that coin first because I would much rather the bananas. I didn't go for that coin because there's a very specific angle that I'm looking for to get that. I also don't get those coins because there's typically a trap in that section there. So if there is a trap on the second lap, that's when I would pick up those coins. So I go for that coin on the second lap. I actually also entertained a strat doing like a bridge jump, kind of like how we do in the hovercraft in time trials.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, and I actually got something kind of that would work, but it wasn't consistent. So maybe it's something to look into later, but yeah, there's definitely like a jump you could do.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You gotta show me that sometime. That's amazing.
Also, I had to keep a mental note of a trap here because it's if you see a trap on the second lap, you have to keep it in your memory because it will stay there for the third lap. So that's a little tip there. Remember where the traps are. And now we're on to the last race. This is WizPig 2. And we're gonna go out with a bang.
Oh boy.
Well, looky here, it's the little worm.
So right off the bat here, I'm gonna get a really nice angle and I'm gonna do 3 barrel rolls.
Wow, that's tight.
Yeah. It's not too difficult to do. Typically we only do 2, but yeah, if you get a good angle, you can get 3 in there.
Well, at the end of a run, too.
Yeah. So now what I
That can
want
go
to do
bad.
is, you see that pillar there? I want to aim like just to the left of that pillar, and then there's 3 boulders here. I'm kind of aiming a little closer to the third one.
2.
And just do that 3 times. This one, I think I was not as far left as I wanted to be, but still
So
pretty decent.
you're not using the mini-map. when you're looking at this? You use physical landmarks?
Yes.
Really?
I use the minimap a little bit when I don't have anything to look at, but yeah, I'm using visual markers here.
Wow. There it
101,
is.
54, and I believe that is an unofficial world record as well.
140.12. What a run. This is a crazy feat, man. You really pulled something special off here.
Thank you. So this project took me about 2 months. Pretty much played Diddy Kong Racing every day. Sometimes up to like 3 hours a day. So there was a lot of work that went into this. And like I said, it's by no means perfect. But what I hope that this accomplishes is it gets, you know, some people motivated, and potentially we could move forward as a community and maybe work on something a little bit more collaborative and really try to push this game even further. I mean, I was a little disappointed that I couldn't break that 140 barrier, but like I said, I'm only one man. I can't do all of it myself, but I'm hoping that this inspires, you know, not even just the top runners, just anybody in general, because like, think of all the, like, I mean, not that I reinvented the wheel or anything, but there was a couple different things like the Hot Top Volcano strat, the Little Find in Smoky, you know, the different strats in Spaceport Alpha, like holding onto the balloon, or trying to come up with different strats, more optimal strats for coin routes. Like, you know, it doesn't take a top runner to come up with a great idea and lab it and see if something is there or not. So, you know, I'm really hoping that this will be an ongoing project, something that we can continue to improve on. So, yeah.
I think in this game especially, there's those tiny little optimizations all over the place, and anybody can find them. Like you said, you don't have to be a top runner. It just takes experimenting, messing around with stuff, and it's not often we find new stuff in this game. It's actually really rare, but when we do, it's really a lot of fun to test it out and figure out how it works. So I think that is a really good reason to do something like this, and I think you really pushed yourself with some of these times. I mean, 4 unofficial world records is crazy. That's really nuts in a segmented run. So congrats.
Yeah, I wasn't, the original intention behind this was to just, you know, do some hardcore practice. Not thinking that I would get some top times in some of these tracks that I've seen other people get in some of their best runs. So once I started getting pretty close to those times, I thought, you know, maybe I could try and pull this together. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with the results. And yeah, I'm actually kind of excited now that this project is over to start labbing some of the new stuff that I found. I'd like to take a look more into the Hot Top Volcano strat, and also maybe employ some of the stuff I learned, like grinding the coin tracks, and maybe see if there's something there that I can implement into my runs. So yeah, I'm excited to get back to doing actual speedruns of this game and seeing if I can improve my time again.
Yeah, you have a big PB around the corner for yourself, I think. Just because I'm sure a lot of these new things that you have discovered yourself have kind of become second nature. Especially when you're grinding it, it's hard to get out of those habits. So when you can apply those habits to a hundo run, I'm excited to see what some of your new PBs look like.
Don't get me wrong, like some of this stuff is like really hard, but there's definitely little things here or there that like is not that hard and can be easily implemented into a run, and who knows, how much time that will save me in the end. That's something that got to look into later, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun trying to come up with different ways of doing things and kind of labbing things to see what works and what doesn't. So yeah, that was it. That was Diddy Kong Racing 100% segmented run. Hopefully the first of many more iterations. And thank you so much again for watching, and thank you, Sweener, for being a part of this.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thank you for including me. Really had a great time.
All right. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, have a good night, guys.
See you, everybody.